we mainly have dealt with the powers of IDAC. The powers of IDAC in the main are derived from executing the recommendations and findings of the Party Commission, of the NUGEN Commission, of the Zondo Commission. You know what's worse, Chair, is that with the three commissions, from the official establishment of the changing of IDAC from ID to IDAC in 2024, they have only finalized 9 matters out of hundreds.
On the 30th of May, 2025, the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, which is referred to as IDAC, requests the exhibits from the cell phone of Vusimuzi Ket Matlala from the Political Killings Task Team, and they download the content of the cell phone. IDAC is a unit that was established to deal with corruptions in the country. We don't know what is it that we're investigating for them to come and ask for these cell phone downloads. On the 25th of May, on the 30th of May, I beg your pardon. On the 25th of June this year, the project coordinator of the Political Killings Task Team is arrested by IDAC. A dramatic arrest. A dramatic arrest.
On that part, I want also, Chair, to cover to just one aspect in relation to Theme 6, the interagency coordination. I think, Chair, it is common cause that there is a need for law enforcement agencies to coordinate their efforts to eliminate duplications where necessary. So I think let's specifically give that obligation to the JCPS cluster to develop an organized crime and corruption strategy, which will align the investigations as it relates to organized crime. As we speak, Chair, for example, we have an issue of Mr. Matlala, whose case is in IDAC today, tomorrow is in the PKTT, the other day is in crime intelligence, the other day is at IDAC. So we do need that coordinated strategy that must be developed by the JCPS cluster to coordinate matters in a proper and efficient way, so that we don't have duplications and infighting about things that really do not matter. Chair, I think we have part of what we have noted as this committee during the testimonies is that we can all agree that IP has been compromised. Compromised daily and being made an ammunition by some people in the security cluster against some people in the security cluster. So I think, Chair, we should stress it, that IPID should recruit and train investigators independently from SAPS, TPCI, and IDAC. So we should give powers to IPID to recruit its own staff. You'll recall the issues of someone being moved from crime intelligence to IDAC, from IDAC to IPID, from IPID to this and that. So we need an expedited legislative amendment that gives IPID to do its own recruitment on issues of staff. An issue, Chair, which is raised in Theme 5, which is organized crime, infiltration, and institutional resilience. Here we want to recommend, Chair, that the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, the Minister of Police, must also develop a framework that guides the movement of personnel in between the different enforcement organs of the state. Just what I've just said, the SAPS, TPCI, IPID, IDAC, you'll find that there is a lot of duplication in terms of recruitment of a personnel. If you'll recall, we once had a discussion about some fellow Mr. Johnson who was moved from crime intelligence to IDAC with some recruitment process being in question also. So I think there must be a standardized framework developed between the Department of Justice and the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Police on how the personnel is moved amongst these organs. Chair, we mainly have dealt, fortunately, Chair, I also speak on this matter as the chairperson of the Portfolio Recruitment on Justice. We mainly have dealt with the powers of IDAC. The powers of IDAC in the main are derived from executing the recommendations and findings of the Party Commission, of the NUGEN Commission, of the Zondo Commission. But the NPA Act actually allows them to deal with any matter of serious corruption matter that they deem it fit to deal with. And Section 27 of the NPA Act actually accords them powers to act on referrals where a certain Mr. Ngola suspect that a certain Mr. Skosana has been involved in a serious corruption matter, and I go and make an affidavit. But we think in the main, Chair, the threshold to those referrals is just too low, in that it just requires me to present my face and do an affidavit, then it ends there. Then IDAC investigates. So our thinking, Chair, around this aspect is that the Portfolio Committee on Justice should look at amending the NPA Act, in particular, Section 27 that gives powers to IDAC to act on referrals. Was the allegation at the face of our people is that IDAC, through that Section 27, is now being weaponized as an agency that fights individual battles instead of fighting corruption, the same issue that it has been established to do. You know what's worse, Chair, is that with the 3 commissions, from the official establishment of the changing of IDAC from ID to IDAC in 2024, they have only finalized 9 matters out of hundreds. Because they are small resource, they even directed to some other things that they've got nothing to do with the findings of these 3 commissions. So we move, Chair, here by recommending to the House that let Section 27 of the NPA Act that deals with IDAC referrals be dealt with. Chair, I think let's say it here in this meeting that what Mr. Adams alleges to be a receipt of an intelligence information from a particular door doesn't really make any sense. And we think that how even it was adduced arrogantly in this committee feeds to the same narrative that Mr. Adam would have been used also to enter the battle that has nothing to do with him and his parliamentary obligations. But I was saying, Chair, was what is our worry mostly here is that there is intelligence information that is going around exchanging hands. If an intelligence information can be found under a door of a person, it means there is intelligence information that is going around changing hands, which is very dangerous for the sustainability of the security of the country. So we want to recommend, Chair, here that the crime intelligence must actually investigate this matter further. And also want to give an obligation to the, I'm so hurt, oh yes, Mr. Cameron is here. Want to also say, Chair, as coining this recommendation, the Portfolio Committee on Police must have regular oversight follow-ups on this matter. Because our belief, Chair, is that the work of the ad hoc committee in relation to the matter at hand ends, but the work of Parliament in relation to the matter doesn't end. So the portfolio committee of both police and justice must also follow up on the matter.
There's a weakness between SAPS, crime intelligence, DPCI, IDAC, IPID, NPA. And Chairperson, in this committee, we heard that there is communication and they understand it. We've done oversights at IDAC just recently. And when questioned on communication between SAPS, IDAC, NPA, etc., it was said that there isn't a problem. And then in recent interviews that we've seen on TV and on social media, you again see that there's some issues and communication challenges between high-ranking officials in the SAPS and high-ranking officials in IDAC. So there's obviously an issue within this communication, and I think in the recommendation there needs to really be a structure of communication between SAPS, IDAC, NPA, DPCI, and so forth.
Is it communication or competition between?
I would say communication, because the questions were all on communication, and it was indicated by Advocate Johnson that there is no communication problems, and it's a media thing that's created the impression that they don't have synergy and proper communication. However, just in recent statements again made televised, there was a communication problem between high-ranking officials and IDAC. So I think that this recommendation needs to be boldly stated, Chairperson. Chairperson, I won't repeat the point, but again, 5.29 is the wording of the NPA must have true independence of financial independence. It must include financial independence, Chairperson. Chairperson, I will end there. Thank you very much.